Lady Blanche was 60 years old when an army of what was said to be 1,300 men came to her home at Old Wardour Castle. Her husband had gone away to support King Charles I during the English Civil War, almost 90 miles away. Lady Blanche and her family were staunch Catholics and Royalists. Because of this, Wardour Castle was a target for parliamentarian forces. It was also believed that others who were loyal to King Charles had hidden money and other valuables in the castle for safekeeping. Lady Blanche had been left in charge of the castle with her 33-year-old daughter-in-law, her 3 grandchildren, their Jesuit Catholic chaplain, a few maidservants, and 25 men who were both servants and locals. When the parliamentarians arrived, they immediately demanded the surrender of the castle. Undeterred, Lady Blanche told them that she had a command from her lord to keep it, and she would obey his command. For 6 days, siege was laid to the castle. Initial terms were proposed that if they surrendered, Lady Blanche, her daughter-in-law, children, and the women would be spared. But the men would not. This was met with absolute refusal. The parliamentarians were told they would choose bravely rather to die together than live on so dishonorable terms. The maidservants even took on the crucial task of reloading the guns. The siege went on. Initially, the parliamentarians used field guns and tunnel explosives with little effect. Then a gunpowder charge was detonated in a latrine shaft. The castle foundations were significantly shaken. Hunger and fatigue began to set in the castle. The parliamentarians then decided to up the stakes. They set an hourglass in motion, threatening to detonate another charge in 1 hour. This calculated piece of psychological warfare had its desired effect. Lady Blanche capitulated and called for talk. Terms were swiftly agreed upon. All men and women would be spared. The women and 6 male servants could leave, and all castle furnishings would be safe from plunder. With these terms, Lady Blanche and her household surrendered. Ultimately, only some of the terms were honored. After capturing Wardour Castle, parliamentarians thoroughly ransacked its interior, seizing anything of value. Goods like tapestries and furniture, along with livestock and even fish, were sold to raise funds. 1,200 pounds of money, plate, and jewels were also found hidden inside the castle. Lady Blanche, her daughter-in-law, and grandchildren were taken prisoner. They were eventually released. The children were put in the care of a Puritan schoolmaster and then exchanged for the release of other captured children. Lady Blanche learned that her husband had died from injuries received in battle just 11 days after her surrender of the castle. Later, Lady Blanche's son besieged the castle and reclaimed it for the Royalists. In the process, one side of the castle was completely blown up, and eventually the parliamentarians surrendered. But now, the castle was completely irreparable. The parliamentarians took back the castle after the war ended in 1646. Lady Blanche died just a few months after King Charles I was executed in 1649. Her son would regain the ruined castle in 1660 when the monarchy was reinstated under Charles II. He built a new mansion nearby, and centuries later, a new country house was built, leaving the original Old Wardour as a picturesque ruin with a garden.